Let's draw nature.
Good morning, welcome back to Let's Draw. Today we're going to draw a very interesting bird. It's always a pleasure to watch the osprey spot a fish in a lake and dive down and get it, and that's their primary food source. So let's draw an osprey. Okay, today we're going to do landscape style, so horizontal. So you might want to turn your sketchbooks or paper on its side. For the young ones, again, this is hot dog style, so get your paper ready, pencil. If you've got a kneaded eraser like this, that's great. And if you've got a sharpener like that, that's also good. And you might need a piece of Kleenex as we get going here. So today we're drawing the osprey. We're going to start out, I think, with a big shape. We're going to draw lightly a kind of a triangle like this, because I don't want the osprey's wings to go off the edge of the paper. And you can see my friend Ken again has taken a great photo of a osprey in flight that we can work from. I'm looking at the shape around the osprey's wing, and I'm looking at the angles, and within this big triangle here we can kind of do the angles of the osprey. I'm working outside today, and it's the end of summer. Well, it's actually the fall. It's September, and so I can hear the wind. I also hear a blue jay. It would be great to, maybe I'm going to stop this in a little while and try and get some photos of the blue jay. But for now, I'm just going to look at these shapes here that I see within this triangle that I've drawn out. Oh, I think this is going to go right off the paper. I might have to make this a little smaller. To stay on the paper, I need to make this and this. I might have to bring it back a little bit. It's important to get these big shapes correct right from the beginning. Just like if you were building a house, you'd have to do the foundation of the house and the structure before you can start thinking about windows and decoration and so forth. So we got to get this structure a little bit better. It would be nice to get the osprey to fit on the page compositionally. This osprey is like he's looking right at the camera here, looking right at the viewer. Okay, so I'm going to do things a little bit differently today in that I'm going to shade in fairly darkly all over the place in a big kind of shape, except for I know where it's kind of white in there through the osprey's chest area. And we're just going to shade like that. And then, remember I told you should maybe have a piece of Kleenex here. And we're going to rub some tonal gradation, I call it, or you might call it shading. If you're in a art class, your teacher might say what we're doing is shading right now, but to me it's tonal gradation, so it's all the grays that you see. The leaves are just starting to fall here where I live in Okotoks, Alberta. And remember what I showed you with this kneaded eraser that you can get at Michael's or art store. It's just an eraser that you can kind of smush up into little shapes, and you can draw the light tones backwards, right? Like this. The Osprey's head is coming at us this way. So, this summer I was in Invermere, British Columbia, where my parents live, and by choice I wanted to tent in the backyard because they have a really nice property, I guess, and I stayed out there in the tent, and it was a lot of fun. I was out there for almost a whole month, and because of COVID, there was very little traffic noise. I mostly heard birds for a whole month. I had really good sleeps because the air was very fresh, and the all you could hear is birds mainly, and I really liked, well, sometimes I could hear the deer. They were walking around the tent, and I could hear the loons right before I fell asleep, and when I woke up they'd get going about 5 in the morning. But every night before I went to sleep, there was an osprey that would land on a branch by the tent there, and the osprey could see me in there, and he would start cheeping at me at about 10 o'clock at night, right before I was falling asleep. And I didn't know what the osprey was trying to tell me, but it seemed like every morning I would get up, I'd go to the driveway, and my dad's van, the osprey would have pooped all over it. So I've heard that if a bird poops on you or whatever, or your things, that's actually a sign of good luck in some cultures. So I'm gonna go with that. Sorry about that. I'm back. Yes, my cat brought a finch into the house, a yellow one, and she also brought a mouse earlier. And so even though, despite my best attempts of putting a bell on my cat, she's a very good hunter, just like the osprey. So it's kind of a circle of life in my backyard right this minute, but I'm determined to finish this osprey and ignore what my cat's doing for the time being. I mean, I could show you what she's eating, but I think that would be kind of gross for some of the viewers, so I'm not going to show you that, subject you to it. So anyway, getting back to the osprey, who is a very good hunter. I was talking about their poop, which was full of fish, And that's what they were doing all day long, all night long. Not all night long, but all day long. It was from the morning until late at night, as they were just diving into the lake, and they were catching fish, and then they would go to the top of the nest there, and oh, there's a bug right there. Move along. And they would just dive into the lake, and they were just amazing to watch them pluck these fish from the lake and then go feed their young ones. And I understand they have some kind of hook on their talon, their feet back here, and I think that there's a hook on them that enables them to carry those fish. Yeah, I didn't realize until after COVID just how many things go on in my little backyard, or your little backyard, that you don't know about, where the nature is concerned. Okay, so I'm trying not to look at everything as that I'm drawing as you know, the osprey's back or the osprey's eyes or whatever. I'm just trying to look at lights and darks and the shades, the shading, and where it's darker, where it's lighter, and the shapes. And I'm trying to do that as the most detached way that I can, in a very, I guess the word would be clinical, looking at it very like a machine would look at it, or a camera would look at it, as opposed to thinking about what it is. Probably hear my cat meowing, and that's just because Khaleesi is her name. She's very proud of what she has just caught, which is a yellow bird, much like the same color as these osprey's eyes, actually. I believe it's a finch, but that she's got, but I don't know. Okay, you can hear my cat. Khaleesi, I know I'm happy for you, but I'm trying to show kids how to draw an osprey. It's starting to come along here. Now I think that I've got the shapes here, these negative shapes. Look at these shapes around the osprey when you're drawing. You can see that there's kind of a triangle in here. You see how it kind of, like from the photograph, how it kind of slopes over this way, and then this kind of line goes out to about here, and then it comes down a bit, and then these wings come to about here. And yeah, I try not to squish anything on the page. If it's going to go off the page, let it go off the page. It'll look better that way than trying to squeeze things on the page. I know that I've probably told you that before. It's what I tell my students a lot. So if you ever go to Invermere, British Columbia, there are some osprey nests that they have down by Kinsman Beach there, and they're quite, or there is one that's very tall. You can see the birds. It's quite cool to see that. And I noticed along the highway there, they've also, or wildlife has also put up nests for them. They like the kind of nests that they kind of can see 360 degrees around the lake. They've got incredible vision. Much better than mine, that's for sure. Okay, I can start to think more about detail. I can start to see where the white and brown shapes from the photo, where they go darker under here, where the wings are the darkest. And how they come across like this. Yeah, the leaves are starting to fall now. Well, my cat won't be able to go outside much longer. It's gonna get, I think it's gonna snow pretty soon. Last year we had quite a bit of snow already in September. It had started, we called it snow timber. So if you feel bad for the mice and the birds that my cat is hunting, they'll be safer when she can't be out here. But I do enjoy her company when I'm out here drawing and doing yard work or whatever. Okay, you can go over this with the Kleenex again. I'm on my patio and I'm working on the patio furniture out here. We have an umbrella, and earlier in the summer when I was filming a Let's Draw episode, we had a couple bats. So I took some footage of the bats there, and so I'm thinking for Halloween, which is coming up, we'll do a Let's Draw a bat. I think that would be cool. Okay. My wife's not going to be too happy when she gets home, and the cat has been killing mice and birds. Usually it's one or the other, but rarely is it both. Like I say, she does have a bell on, so she must be a pretty good hunter. I'm just erasing some highlights here where I see that it's a little bit lighter. And the direction of the wings, I'm putting some highlights in there, like that. If you want to go back in there with the Kleenex a little bit, you can do that again. Just going to give it a little bit of a sharpen. They have a real hook on their beak. I can see it. Now you notice that I didn't start doing the eyes and the details until everything else, the big shapes, are done. Got to do the big shapes first, and then you do the details. Even when I'm doing a portrait of a person, I don't worry about the details until all the big shapes are in. Very important, because you want it to be proportionally correct. I don't want it necessarily to be exactly like the photo. How you interpret the photo is gonna vary. It's gonna give it some personality. It's gonna show off who you are. And I could get, or you know, when I watch my students do these videos, because I play for them and I do them for them in their class too. I will be doing that this week. Everybody comes up with something differently depending on their experience and whatnot. Sometimes there are students, young students, that do it, the drawing more photographically or correct to the photo than I do. And I think that's great. But you know, we're not just trying to replicate the photo, we're trying to give it some personality. And again, there's something called artistic license. If you wanted to make changes to this afterward, you could put a mountains back there, you could put a lake back there, you could have the Osprey holding a fish, you could put a fish in here. The other thing is, your vision is probably better than mine is. My vision is declined since I've gotten older, and you know, your vision could be more like the Osprey's vision. I had very, very good vision when I was younger, but it seemed like as soon as I turned about 40 or so, I needed glasses. And if you need glasses, and even if you're young and you need glasses, make sure that you get them, because they're going to help you. Don't be afraid of wearing glasses just because you think they're you think they might look nerdy or something. Just wear them. I know some kids that have headaches because they're not wearing their glasses. To school or for reading or whatever. Okay. Well, we're getting closer now. Just about done. Sometimes there's students I have, they race ahead and they say, "Oh, I'm done." And I say, "No, you're not done. How can you be done? I'm not even done." Besides that, you can always add something or fix something or change it. The two things I don't let my students say, or I get a little bit irritated, is when they say, "Oh, I'm done," or "I'm bored." We weren't allowed to say that growing up. You're responsible for your not being bored. You can find something to do that you enjoy. Like for me, and I think for you, it's drawing. You can draw all the time. My wife practically has to pull me away from my drawing once I get into it, because I just enjoy it so much. Always have. I probably always will. You know, it just occurred to me that if you see something from a photo that you don't think that I'm doing correctly, go by the photo, because I won't necessarily get it right the first time, sometimes the second time, or even the third time. And you might see something that I don't. So absolutely follow your own instincts about how you think that things should look. Boy, my cat is just having a heyday out here today. One of the final days of fall before it starts to snow, and I don't know what she just ran by with, but I don't think I've seen her catch so many things in one day. Very much like the osprey. The osprey eat a lot of fish. They catch a lot of fish in one day even. I'm just going to clean up the background a little bit. I don't think I'm going to put a lake or mountains in here. Okay. Okay, we're just about finished here, and if you want to put a background in, if you want to put some mountains in there or a lake, or you even just want to put a gray sky in, if you want to rub one in with a Kleenex, you could do that. It's totally up to you. And I think that's pretty close. The osprey is just about complete here.